So what is going on, everybody? Today is not a day that I want to make a video about PvP for the Division 2. It's one of those days that I feel for you guys, and I feel like a lot of you guys are heartbroken. You guys are disappointed. You guys just didn't hear what you guys wanted to hear during this live stream, and I'm totally with you. For me as a content creator, I want my PvE guys to have PvE content. I want my PvP guys to have PvP content. And you guys know me, I play everything, right? I play PvE and I play PvP. So I enjoy everything. But I do want everybody to have something to play in the Division 2, because the bigger the community, the better it is for all of us, right? And at the end of the day, what they said during this live stream was a little disappointing for the PvP community, and I felt this was coming. I talked about it in a couple of my streams a while back. If you guys have been watching me on Twitch, when I do stream on there, if you watch me on the main channel, I talked about it. And I talked about with Heartland, I always felt that Heartland was their focus for PvP, especially since they put Red Storm on it. And Red Storm initially was part of the PvP community, well, the dev team for the Division 2, and they're on Heartland. So right now the team, and you'll hear them, is a small team, so they have to choose what they focus on. And it sucks to say that, but I believe honestly right now the PvE community is a bigger community, and that's why the team that is focused on the Division 2 is focused on PvE. Now, when they do changes in the game, yes, it will affect the meta, like Intimidate, the shield nerf. So small things can help the PvP community, but as a whole, getting new maps, getting a bigger DZ, well, that's something that we're missing, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna listen to what they have to say, and we'll talk a little bit more about everything, and let's just talk about it. So I actually got the clip where he talks specifically about PvP, and then I have the clip where he talks about the anti-cheat. So let's get into it right now. Let's make sure this is all the way up.
We know that there's a passionate PvP community out there and that are playing either in the dark zone or in conflict. And there's a lot of conversation on the state of PvP in our game and the things that work and the things that don't. We don't want to ignore that, and the changes to shield, for example, is one instance where we try to do something because it's something we could do, we could afford doing, and that at least addresses one of the problems. There's other problems in PvP. So will there be any focus on PvP? I don't know, because that's not a matter of just wanting to do it. It's a matter of having the right team to do that as well. And the team we have, and it's not just because, but the team we have on the division is a team that is very much built to produce PvE content. That doesn't mean we don't want PvP, but that means, right now, we don't necessarily have the people that can allow us to have a pure focus on PvP. But on the other hand, I don't want us to give up on it. That's part of the game. That's something that our players like and want to engage with. So we need to try to find solutions. So this is not a commitment, but there will be a focus on PvP, but this is just me saying, yes, we know, and yes, we want to try to make PvP better. And we may try, and hopefully it will be better. But it's so far we don't have any big PvP 2.0 path that is planned. If we do it, it's more going to be like we did with Shield, trying to address the main outliers, the elephants in the room, and try a few things here and there and see, does that make it better? Cool, we keep it. No, okay, we change, try something else. So it's going to be more iterative than one big revamp.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's...
So I wanted to pause it right there. He does say that it's not that they want to give up on PvP for the Division 2. It's just that the team is a smaller team. If you guys watch the stream, we talk about it. It's a smaller team, and they have to focus on one or the other. And they will address it in small pieces here and there, like they did with Intimidate, like they did with the Shield. But obviously, it's smaller pieces here and there. For right now, it's not saying that they won't in the future. Who knows, depending on the support they get for this update and other updates, it could really give Massive the go-ahead to say, hey, look, let's rebuild the team and get this rolling.
Not like we're ignoring the comments, and we see them and we acknowledge them, and that is something that team constantly discussing. Mm-hmm. So, but let's pray we're gonna have the right person for that.
But it's just, and we have a bunch of recruitments that are open, so it's also something we, when we talk about rebuilding a team, we are still rebuilding that team. So you know, one miracle would be to find someone that is super savvy about PvP and could help us. But it's not just that. You know, it's about looking at what's feasible with the game and how things work, and things that might seem simple to address when you play the game are actually extremely complex on our side, and so a huge investment for us to change, and that might be why we haven't addressed it. One of the problems why we are rarely speaking of PvP is because we don't have good news for PvP players. I wish I could come here and say, yeah, we're going to have a big PvP update, but that's not the case right now. But I hope at least acknowledging that yes, we know, and yes, if we can, we will try to improve and make things better. I hope is already something, you know, a right step for the PvP community to trust that we hear them.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Now, I do want to say, at least he was 100% honest, saying that the reason why they don't address the PvP community isn't because they don't want to. It's that they don't really have any good news. And I can see it. Like, it's like they're being honest, right? At least he addressed it. He says, it's not that we don't want to address the PvP community. It's just that they just don't have any good news for you. So all they're going to do is keep saying it over and over. And I've even done that in chat before. Like, on my streams, I've talked about PvP and in this game. And just, I feel like it's the second part of this game, right? PvE is the first part, Division 2 PvP is the second part, and they're just more focused on part 1 versus part 2. Let's continue on and keep listening to what they have to say.
It's going to happen eventually. We just need to sit tight and wait. but yeah, as soon as we have news, you're going to be the first one to know. I promise you that.
Any plans to consolidate the DC Dark Zones? Nope. But we would like to look at Dark Zone in general and see if we can improve it, but that's part of the PvP conversation, so it's something that probably will take some time, and we need the stars to align, or the planets to align, before we can look at it. Any update on anti-cheat and addressing cheaters? We have a running anti-cheat. I know it looks like we are not banning cheaters, but trust me, we are banning cheaters. Sometimes they just come back faster than we ban them, and sometimes it's all about constantly updating the anti-cheat with ways of detecting the new ways people are cheating. The reason why we are not discussing it is mostly because we don't want to reveal too much about how anti-cheat works and what are the efforts we are making, because it's not just we have easy anti-cheat, but we have other things in the game as well. And also we are not publicly discussing people who cheat. We are not publicly confirming if someone cheated or whatever. So if you send reports to us and we are not commenting on those, it's because we are not publicly commenting on those. It's not because we're ignoring it. So, you know, we are looking at cheaters, and we are constantly trying to improve our anti-cheat, even though I know that it might not look like that to you.
So that is kind of the end of what he discussed for PvP anti-cheat. He talks a little bit right at the beginning of that. He says the DZ, they don't plan on consolidating at this moment, but they do plan on looking at, hopefully in the future, if they have a team to do that, making the DZ better. So maybe a bigger DZ, maybe something else, but you know, as of right now, nothing. And then the anti-cheat, he says that they are banning players. They just don't talk about players. They don't talk about if they ban them or not. They don't address those. They just don't do that publicly. And that's probably something from the higher up. But yeah, so they do have an anti-cheat, and they do have other methods of detecting players. So just keep reporting them, and hopefully you don't see them in your next game. I know this is bigger on the PC side than actually on the console side, and that's why you actually see more people from PC actually complaining about this. Now, I will tell you guys, I honestly thought Heartland was the reason why the PvP community for the Division 2 was pushed on the back burner, right? Because Heartland is a PvP more focused game. And if you guys think about it, with Red Storm leading that way, they just don't have that team focused on the Division 2 PvP anymore. So they actually focus on Heartland with other dev teams, and Massive is focused on the PvE content along with other studios. But their team is a lot smaller now, right? Because they have other games that they're developing for. And we all know this all goes back to March 2020 when Season 4 came out, and that was supposed to be the final season for the Division 2. And that was supposed to be the end of support. But with us, with the community actually supporting the game through seasons, through microtransactions, they got the heads up to, hey, keep doing it. Division 2 has a lot of support right now, and you guys are supporting, and it's good to hear that they did continue, and maybe and them having to rebuild a whole team from scratch doesn't help the PvP side. And I honestly feel for the whole PvP community, guys. Don't get me wrong, like I love PvP too. Right now I'm playing that new Vampire BR. I play Call of Duty still from time to time, and I just don't really play Division 2 PvP that much anymore. For a minute I was playing Conflict because I was trying to get to level 100. I did that, and then it got a little bit repetitive, but I still get into Conflict. You'll still catch me in there playing. Once the new the new gear comes out, the new weapons, I'll go back into Conflict, test the builds out in there, see how I enjoy it, see if I like it, and see if I like it without the changes to the shield, and see how it works. But I still feel like status effect builds are going to be an issue, and with them not addressing those, that's still going to be one of the bigger issues in the Division 2. So we'll see what they do going forward. Don't think I'm not with you guys. I do support the PvP community. I just know that right now PvP is on the back burner, and I feel for you guys. So my hope is Heartland will knock it out the park, and that will be where the PvP players go, and then Division 2 will continue with the PvE until they can get PvP right. So only time will tell, guys. I appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.